are a key component of Special Operations training.
All right, you're on go.
4 letters, 12 men, 1 mission, and 1 very, very fast boat. Welcome to VBSS, or Visit, Board, Search and Seizure. VBSS is a maritime operation which is based on boarding actions and tactics designed to capture enemy vessels. Combating terrorism, piracy and smuggling is an important goal of VBSS, and it is a staple activity of the SSG Navy.
They're not in the streets, it's up to my ankles.
This is the MRTP-15, short for Multi-Role Tactical Platform. That's because this boat can be deployed for a variety of missions, from search and rescue to anti-terrorist operations and even commando insertion and extraction. The boat's most visible spec is its top speed, over 60 knots, which on the road would equate to over 100 kilometers an hour. But it is also equipped with a threat avoidance and detection radar and reduced heat and acoustic signature systems which allow it to sneak up to its targets. In this VBSS exercise, a team of SSG and commandos is on harbor patrol, standing by for moving orders to rescue a merchant navy vessel which has been taken over by pirates and the crew held hostage. When the word comes, they have to move, and move fast. Their battle gear includes ballistic protective helmets and short-range, close-quarter combat MP5 submachine guns. The speed of the boat accelerates them to the objective in quick time. Momentum is their biggest advantage. The first weapon the commandos deploy is not a gun. It is a boarding ladder. Because they will go on board the boat without clearance and they have to avoid detection, the boarding ladder is the quickest, safest way up. The first fire team moves into position. Their job is to dispose of the sentry who is on the other side of the deck. Using the structure of the vessel as cover, the SEALs deploy in a fire and move maneuver. Engaging the sentry has to be quick and silent. No weapons can be used because the SEALs will be detected and the alarm will be raised. Disabling the sentry's communication gear is as important as disarming him. The apprehension is over as quickly as we started. Meanwhile, the second fire team is in position. It is tasked with approaching the bridge, which is on the top deck on the other side of the vessel. They form a 180-degree fire radius position to provide each other cover with the MP5s. The vessel, because of its structure and layout, can provide for any enemy gunman, and the MP5 allows the SEALs the operating mobility to negotiate tight spaces and corners. The approach in has to be stealthy, calibrated, and more than anything else, coordinated. The margin of error is 0. The SEALs split into 2 fire teams. The first one will have to approach the main entrance of the bridge, but first engage the guard stationed outside. Using weapons because of risk to the hostages is not an option. The second fire team has a different and perhaps more difficult task. Though they will not have to engage a guard, their route is not as straightforward and longer and could also give away their presence. They will have to approach with even more stealth. Moreover, they have to breach the bridge from its rear entrance, which is where the terrorist's leader is located. It is time to breach the bridge. The action begins. First, the guard on the top deck is engaged. Then, both fire teams move in from both entrances simultaneously. apprehending the pirates is as important as protecting the hostages and securing the ship's communication. The mission is accomplished, and that too without a single shot being fired. The vessel is secure. Visit, board, search and seizure, or VBSS, is executed exactly as it is sequenced, with textbook precision.
You can miss in hoops, but you can't miss in war. As its ambit is changing from conventional operations to anti-terrorist operations, the Navy is also acquiring a new batch of weapons. Its weapons are evolving, as are its tactics. This is a rundown of the Navy's latest weaponry. The New Age machine gun, the 5.56 Mini-Me, and I'm not joking when I say Mini-Me. A Belgian machine gun. The in vogue caliber these days, by the way, in militaries all around the world, is the 5.56 versus while most of the rest of the military right now in Pakistan has 7.62 mm calibers, the Navy's moving forward with smaller caliber weapons. They've been proven to do as much damage, yet are more easy and more mobile to carry, as in this case. Now this thing effectively has the same rate of fire as the MG3, which you've probably seen, but it's a much more handy weapon. For example, if I was holding the MG3, I would not be able to pick it up and move it around like this. However, because of its lightweight and obviously its very briefcase-like handle right over, the Mini-Me is a rather handy weapon, and the Navy's rather proud of it. All right, not a very old weapon, but not a very new one either. The Austrian AUG, a sniper weapon. The USP of this weapon, obviously, is its plastic magazine and its fiberglass body. Why? Because the AUG, whether you like it or not, or believe it or not, floats in water. If it drops out of your hand when you're on a diving operation, it has positive buoyancy, it will float. And divers like things which float. Then, two new weapons which the Navy has acquired for CQC or close quarter combat operations. The Commando M4 Colt and the M4 Colt carbine. Now, the Commando is meant for CQC operations. As you can see, it has a shorter barrel and has a shorter stock as well, which can be retracted, while the carbine is usually used with an extended barrel and has a longer carbine. I was talking to some of the guys who are using these weapons, and they're like, well, they're more like a very high maintenance spouses. They look very good, and they work very hard, but they are very difficult to maintain. Well, like most things American. Now the Navy also has breaching operations. It trains for breaching operations, especially with piracy and all. And there's a thing the Navy practices which is called forced entry. When, for example, they have to board a ship on which has been hijacked, which pirates have taken over. That's where the repeater comes in. Because the repeater has a very powerful blast impact. It spreads out the rate of fire. As you can see, it's also, because it's such a powerful weapon, it can also be used to bang open a door. The repeater comes in use for forced search and forced entry operations. Okay, now handguns are supplementary firearms. Now this is the Navy's old version. This is the Walther P38. This is the Heckler & Koch. Which one is it? It's the Heckler & Koch GmbH, which was the choice for the German police for a lot of time. But this is the new age weapon. This is a Glock 19. It's got an 18-bullet magazine. But the beautiful thing about this weapon, if you could hold it, you would understand, is that the weapon itself is around half the weight and has more effective range than these other two guys. These old school weapons are made of steel. There's a lot of metallic parts in them. But this guy barely has any metal. And according to the guys who use this stuff, it's also much more accurate. Well, speaking of accuracy, this guy knows nothing about accuracy. But this guy is all about impact. The Navy uses the RPG during raid